Okay, so we left off at Daniel chapter 7, verse 8, where the 10 horns, from those 10 horns, another horn emerged, which we found out was the American colonies out of England. They were British colonies in the Americas, got their independence. It says before whom 3 of the previous horns fell. So that means Britain was one of them because, like we said, established that was War of Independence in the War of 1812. And you had a series of wars fought for the acquisition of the lands of Spanish colony territories that eventually allowed the United States to expand westward. And like I said, having taken advantage of Napoleon's need for money, Napoleon sold the territories, the Louisiana territories, it was called the Louisiana Purchase afterward, the Louisiana Purchase territories to the United States, and that's how they became the states, or that geographical configuration that they are today, through that dynamic. Go ahead. And then, of course, America fought wars with the French Indian Wars also. Everything wasn't sales. You know, you can go and get this movie called The Last of the Mohicans, Daniel Day-Lewis, and they show how the Brits had certain Native Americans fighting with them for their expansion when they were fighting against the French, who had many Native Americans. You know what I mean? That was a dynamic that was taking place in the Iroquois Nation, for the most part, in the eastern section, the eastern third of the United States. Okay, so we left off at Daniel chapter 7, verse 8. Do we want to reiterate 8 and move on? Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
Right, another horn, talking about America once again.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by
That's
the
what we wanted to do. Thank you. But now we want to go back to the map. It's not modern, but it's closer to modern than the one we saw before. Read that again.
I considered the
Can you
horns.
see the little color swatch on that? You can't see that, can you? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
In other words, that was the colonies. Now, if you look at it's kind of one, I'm not sure from the camera, can you distinguish the pink and the orange, the British possessions, the French possessions? The French possessions are in here. The French possessions are like in here. The British possessions are in here. They got different, aside from other areas of the Americas. Go ahead. So when it says, among 3 horns were fell, for the most part, France, its territories over here. England, I don't know, like I said, the people in the camera can see the distinguish. The territories here, more pinkish. The portion of colonies that belong to England, it says it right here. Can you zoom in on that or not? It says 13 colonies. Okay, that's the portion of land. Those are the ones who had to free themselves from England. Then when it says Indian reserves, they belong to France. Then you got it right here, the yellow. I told you Spanish was bad, man. Spain was bad. The Spanish was bad, right? My English is bad, The Spanish was bad. You see this little place, and look at, they really control the majority, a large portion, we'll say, of the New World. You know what I mean? But all of this territory here was acquired through fighting between the colonies who had freed themselves up from England, number one, who had taken advantage of a purchase done through France and a few battles like the French Indian Wars, and acquired most of that territory, and then moved westward, having to contend with Spain and its territories. That's why the scripture says, out of all the 10 horns that were situated around the Mediterranean, this new horn emerged from among them, and had to take 3 of them down. And that's what it's talking about. Okay? All right. Go ahead.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Go ahead.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man.
Because it was an extension of the Roman Empire and another realm within it. In other words, they were made. I know, but it's talking about it was quite astute. Eyes of a man, his intelligence, his planning. Go ahead.
And a mouth speaking great things.
It's constant. You know what? That's a funny thing because you can see it in all the movies now how America is always contending, always bragging and boasting of being, laying claim to being the most powerful military the world has ever known. And that's something that they put in, like all movies that are based on some type of military action, they always talk about the most powerful. You know, how many times have you heard it? The most powerful military. Boasting great things. Go ahead.
Verse 9, I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
In other words, Daniel said, when he said, he's watching the vision. I kept on watching until these kingdoms were done away with. Now, what was it that done away with? When you read Daniel chapter 2, it was the stones. Talking about Yahweh and Israel. It's the same in this one. Go ahead.
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
And the Ancient of Days is talking, let me say, when you read Genesis chapter 1, it was the Most High who established for us here on earth what days would be. So when it said the Ancient of Days, it's talking about Daniel literally saw it as time progressed. These kingdoms were taken down and the Most High came. Go ahead.
And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Just like the Israelites, that's what he's talking about. Go ahead. Just like this brother's head, except it happened to be engraved right now, twisted. Yes, I don't know what it is. Go ahead.
His throne was like the fiery flame.
When it says throne was like the fiery flame, it's talking about the vehicle in which the Most High is coming. That's it. The scriptures tell you how the Most High, how he's going to send Christ back. When he says his throne was like the fiery flame, he's talking about the chariots that are spoken of in the scriptures. Go ahead.
And his wheels as burning fire.
Go ahead.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him.
Now you know, when you watch Esau's movies, they depict these things in the realm of science fiction. But even in science fiction, when you see these so-called these UFOs, as Esau like to call them, unidentified flying objects, when you see these chariots that the Bible refers to as, in the movies with Esau depicted, what are they doing? It says, a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. The Most High in his will, fiery stream issued. That's a laser, a stream. It's not talking about a burst of flame. It said a fiery stream, like you saw the movie Independence Day. As a matter of fact, in the book of Joel, it tells you that when the Most High come back, we're going to read that, as a matter of fact. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Go ahead.
Thousands ministered unto him. And 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him.
Because that's talking about what Christ said when John the Revelator wrote in St. John, in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, where it says, behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him. And also they that pierced him. Over the whole world won't see this thing. Now let's go read that in Joel. It's 2 places. I want to just get it in Joel chapter 2, verses 1, 2, and 3, I believe. It's either 1 and 2 or 1, 2, and 3. Where it tells you that when Christ came, the Most High came, it says the place was at the Garden of Eden. It says that when they had left, it was a wilderness. Because it's talking about the fire that the Most High would do. And you saw that in Independence Day. When the chariots popped up, what happened? There was a civilization was going on. And once they hovered over the city and did that countdown, that stream of fire came down, then you saw them leaving. And what happened? The place was like a wilderness. Esau knows the scriptures. Read that verse. It's Joel chapter 2, start at verse 1.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. Blowing the trumpet in Zion.
This is what we do it now, actually. Blowing the trumpet. Although this is appearing over YouTube, it's addressing Israel. Go ahead.
And sounding the alarm in my holy mountain.
His holy mountain is the Most High's kingdom. His people, us. Go ahead.
Let all inhabitants of the land tremble.
That's why I said 10,000 times 10,000